About time.
Inspired decision, and I'm delighted to take a call on the title and commencement date for the bill. But before I do, I wonder if you'll indulge me while I elaborate on the interjection on Mr Davis before the dinner break, because I don't want him to think that I was being insensitive to the story that he was telling in asking the question. Now, I think as not being a member of the Transport Select Committee, he may not have known what BAC was. He looked a bit blank. But the point and the question I was asking was, sad though his uncle's death was, and Mr Whāwhoi the same, what blood alcohol content was in his system when he passed away? Because the fact of the matter is, while the Labour Party... Sorry? 0.07. Are you putting that in the Hansard now as an interjection, knowing it to be true? All right, it must be true because he's put it in the Hansard.
That's right.
So there we have it on record. It was 0.07. Because this is very interesting. Labour have spoken at length about research, 300 pieces of research which they claim demonstrate unequivocally that people are safer at 0.05 from 0.08. Well, in fact, those 300 pieces of research do not say anything like that. What they establish is that the greater the level of alcohol content, the higher the risk. Well, that's hardly a revelation, isn't it? That's been known for a very long period of time. Now, there are some studies that will go to a risk curve between 0.05 and 0.08, but the simple question, the premise of this bill and the reason for the collection of the research still hasn't been answered. And that is, if a person has a blood alcohol content of 0.05 to 0.08, how many of the deaths and serious injuries on our roads are caused by people with that blood alcohol content where they are at fault? And the simple fact is, we don't know. So while we have a bill which is named the Land Transport, Road Safety and Other Matters, well, that could fall into either of those categories because it's a road safety question, but it definitely also falls into the other matters. And it's on the other matters that I want to just briefly touch. Because one of the disappointing aspects of the committee stage of this bill is that there are so many other matters which I would have expected people like Darian Fenton would have raised, because it does go to the issue of road truck safety, and with very few references. I think she made one brief comment about it. None of those very excellent changes that this bill bring about is actually being mentioned by Labour. But I could come up with a number of titles that Labour might have suggested, although they didn't. One could have been the Land Transport, we're really keen on a 0.05 limit, but we're prepared to sacrifice our 15-year-old boys bill, because that's exactly what they're prepared to doing when the unequivocal research says that those kids are far, far unsafer on our roads. Just being 15 to 19 without any alcohol creates a death risk 5 times greater than a 30-year-old. But we're prepared to completely avoid any of that evidence in the interests of expediency and the fact that those 15-year-olds are going to be voters in 3 years' time. They've given away 2011. They want those 15-year-olds to vote for Labour in 3 years' time. As I said, good luck with that. And yet they're prepared to allow those kids to kill and maim themselves on the roads, but not prepared to wait for the equivocal evidence that exists right now to be much clearer in 2 years' time, when we've created the evidence base that we need to decide whether or not we change the blood alcohol content. I appreciate the Minister's call, particularly on Ms Moroney's challenge about the commencement dates, because there are very sound reasons why, in particular, the taking of blood and the new technologies that are available that the committee heard about for the safe taking of blood from suspects, which is going to take quite a bit of time to be gazetted and put into practice in our hospitals and primary healthcare facilities. So with that, Mr Chairman, I think we're coming to the end of this committee stage, but I think it's been a robust debate. I'm quite sure the members on the other side have nothing new to say, but you may wish to challenge that, but thank you.
I call the honourable member